Well, hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for hanging out with me again today. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Radiolink C86 Plus. CB86 Plus. I knew I remembered, just misremembered. I knew I forgot something in there. So this is the 8-bank LiPo, lithium high voltage, and lithium ion battery charger that I showed you guys a sneak peek of and kind of went over how to go through the settings a while back. If you guys didn't see that, the link is up here, and I'll link it down below in the description. So where if you guys want to see all that stuff a little bit more up close, we're gonna you can see it there. Today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at it, actually doing some work. So this is the battery charger, and you have 4 ports on one side, 4 ports on the other side. You can charge up to 8 big batteries on it at one time. Now, I say that because they sent me this pigtail. And if you're into flying, you know, microplanes, micro drones, stuff like that, and have the small little 1S packs, you can actually charge 6 1S packs per bank. So real quick, let me go over some specs real fast before I forget to mention those. So you get the charger and a big heavy-duty power brick in the kit. The power brick is a 12-volt, 15-amp power brick, so it's definitely going to be pushing some voltage. Now, like I said, this is a up to 6-amp, up to 6S charger. So each bank, you should be able to charge up to a 6S battery. Now, the charge amperage is 0.3 amps to 6 amps per channel. Like I said, you can do 6 tiny 1S's on each port. You can also do 2S on the ports. It didn't say, I think you're kind of limited to the 2S. I don't think you can squeeze 2 3S in there just the way the ports are designed. But you can do 2S batteries per port per the instructions. So what I'm going to do is I've got the overhead camera up there. I have 2 3S shorty packs. Then I have 4 3S regular packs, different capacities, but all are full-size 3S batteries. And then I've got 2 big 4S 5600 milliamp packs. So I'm going to get these guys plugged up onto the charger, get it all charging. I'm going to get this guy sped up, and we're going to see how long it takes to get to a full charge at as much as I can or should charge them at. You know, if I have a 2200 milliamp pack, I'm going to set the charge rate at 2.2 amps. The 5600s, they're going to go to 5.6 amps. I don't think I have anything in here that's higher than 6 amp capable, or that I should charge at 6 amps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all these guys tossed on here at one time. Now, safety notice, normally I would charge all of these in their packs with the leads hanging out and all that. But I did have some people questioning how hot the balance leads are, because all of your batteries are plugged into this with your balance leads. So I had some people questioning that. So I do have a temp gun here, and I will be going over and checking the wires all at the same time, and it's going to be easier if they're out of the bag. Now, I have a fire extinguisher over here, I have a fire extinguisher over here, and I also have an empty ammo can that's going to be open, ready. If something does go wrong with any of these batteries, it's going to immediately go into the ammo can, and I'm going to carry the fire extinguisher with me. I'm going to huck this thing outside and try to put it out. So, safety first anytime you're doing this. I'm bending the rules a little bit by having them all out in the open. I know some guys don't care, but I'm always going to try to charge them to where if something does go wrong, I'm not going to lose all this. It's going to take me, I don't know how long, to get all these charged up. So this is all going to be on time lapse up here. I'll get it on time lapse. We'll get it all set up. Then I'll come back up. I'll discuss how long it took for each one to hit their cutoff limits. Now, some are going to be a lot quicker than others. You know, a small 3S pack with 1500 milliamp capacity or 2200 milliamp capacity is going to take a lot less time than a big 4S pack with a 5600 milliamp. So I'm kind of just throwing a little bit of everything at it, but kind of the 3S and the 4S are my biggest batteries, and then I have some more of the 3S shorties that I'm going to put on here as well. So we're going to see how long it takes for everything to do. does anything get warm? Does anything get hot? You know, all that good stuff. So give me a few minutes. We'll come right back to all that. Okay, this is going to take longer to do than what I thought. I misunderstood the charger. I thought you could charge all 8 at the same time. Now, it cycles through them. So it charges battery 1, battery 2, battery 3, battery 4, so on, until it gets done charging all of them. So, that said, not as efficient as I thought it was going to be. I was kind of hoping, you know, we could throw multiple batteries at this all at one time, charge up a bunch of batteries all at one time, be good to go. Kind of thinking about it was too good to be true, because that would be, what, you know, 48 amps of output on a single charger. That's a lot. I don't remember what the calculations is to figure out the actual wattage of that, but it's a lot. So kind of my moment of thinking, oh, this is going to charge all 8 at one time. So this would be helpful to get everything set up. Like, I had all 8 batteries set up. So these are all 5600 milliamps. So all of these are charging at 5.6. These are 52s, so 5.2, then a 2.2, then a 1.5. So I could technically set it and it would cycle through. It did not take too long to charge up the 3S battery. I would have to look back on the camera and see if it caught when it changed over. I actually walked away for about 2 minutes. That was just right now the room, but it changed over. I was like, oh, I still got probably a little bit of time. And by the time I came back in, yep, it had changed over to battery 2. So, prepping for a big day, yes, this would save me a lot of running around between this charger and that charger and that charger. I can get everything set up on this charger and just set it over there and let it rock and roll. And once it's done, it's done. The only problem I can see is getting too accustomed to just letting this cycle through 8 different batteries on me and walking away and being somewhere else completely different in the house or outside, not being attentive to what's going on here. That's my only concern about this charger. Now, obviously, I made the mistake of thinking, oh, this is going to charge all 8 at one time. World's best charger. Not going to charge all 8 at one time, but it will charge a wide variety of batteries. So especially if you guys fly, you know, a lot of the smaller 1, 2, and 3S packs, you know, you could probably stack a ton of those on here, get them charged up really, really fast. You know, they would just cycle through and go through as quickly as possible to mass charge a bunch of flight batteries for flight. These bigger guys, you know, it's going to be a lot slower process, and you're going to have to sit down here while all these things are charging. The other thing is, go ahead and definitely invest in some of these small LiPo bags. Charging in a bat safe and all that stuff is not going to go well with this guy, you know, because you have to plug your balance leads directly into here. It would be best to have each individual battery charging in its LiPo bag right in front of the charger. That way you are not adding any oddities by putting a big long 6-inch, you know, adapter lead onto your balance port. I did check the temps and the battery wires. I checked them right at the coming out of the connection, and they were a degree or 2 more than the ambient room temperature. My mat was about 75 degrees, and the battery wires were all 77, 78 degrees in there. So no, you know, issue with that. And the way I look at it is, you're basically utilizing the balance charge feature of your batteries when you're doing this, whether you're charging or you're balance charging. You know, the charge is just going to charge it up until it hits that peak voltage. The balance charge is going to focus in on each individual cell and bring it up to that perfect peak voltage and try to get the packs as balanced as possible. But either way, you're doing the same thing. You're still feeding these the voltage. So yeah, I don't really have a concern at all with the, you know, some people were like, oh, you're going to cook the leads, blah, 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 but I don't think that's going to be an issue. You know, this only takes up to 6S. It only goes up to 6 amps. So I was at 5.6 on this 3-cell, so I don't think that's an issue. Aside from my misunderstanding of the battery charger being able to charge everything all at one time, which, you know, kind of in hindsight sounded too good to be true, and it is. It's asking a lot of a small form factor charger. Now, I'm sure somewhere there's a big giant, you know, desk-sized charger that will charge 8 at one time at full capacity at high amperage. As far as the charger goes, the charger works fine. It is a little different menu-wise than, you know, a lot of your hobby shop chargers that you see. So many of them share that same interface that this one is a little hunt and peck through to figure it out. But as soon as you kind of figure out, you know, what button sequences to use and what buttons do what. So mainly you're using the up and down arrows, plus minus arrows, and your set button to kind of navigate around the screens, get into the different modes, change the settings, all that stuff. You know, that's not hard. It's just a little bit different format than what you're used to seeing on a lot of different chargers, but not difficult to navigate, not difficult to figure out. Now, you can, if you're running all the same batteries, so if you have 4, 5, 6 of these things and you're running these all the time and this is what you mainly charge, you can set a global setting for all 8 batteries, plug these in, and, you know, your stuff is going to be set to 5.6 amps, 4.2 volt cutoff, and just plug them in, hit start. It's going to cycle through all your batteries until they're all fully charged. So I apologize to everybody out there that I've kind of misled you down the path that I was going down, thinking that this was going to charge all 6 batteries at the same time and, you know, kind of be an answer to everybody's prayers. But you can set up all 6 batteries, 6 different batteries, 6 of the same batteries, and even with the pigtails, throw on a ton of the little single cell batteries, and get them all charged up at one time. You know, it's not going to be, or in one sitting, I should say. It's not going to be simultaneously. It's going to be sequentially. So, huge thanks to Radiolink for sending this over. I apologize to them as well for kind of misstating things, and you know, I don't want this to sound like it's a bummer that, you know, it didn't do what I expected. It didn't do what I expected because it can't. So far, I don't know of a charger that can. But I think I squashed the worries on charging through the balance ports on your batteries through this. Like I said, at 5.6 amps, this thing didn't even warm up. So I don't think you have to worry about setting anything on fire. Now, if you're running extensions, then you're adding more risk factors, I would say. I think if you just got a plain extension and not a board, it may work. But again, do that on your own risk. I wouldn't suggest it. I would plug them in directly. And like I said, invest in some 4-packs of these. And they make them for the shorty packs as well. They're pretty cheap. $14 for, I think, usually 4 of these. It's anywhere between $14 and $20 for 4 of these. Save from burning your shop down. Or at least to be able to grab it and get it the hell out of your shop before it burns the shop down. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. Like I said, I didn't want to make this sound like it's a bummer. Just it was my ignorance that, you know, led me down the wrong path. But as far as the charger goes, the charger works great. It has a lot of features, you know, to be able to charge the batteries sequentially and just knock out a bunch of batteries in kind of one sitting. That is a great thing to have. So thanks to Radiolink for sending it over. If you guys are interested, there are links down in the descriptions for this, for the balance tap spreader adapter deal. That way you can just plug that in and charge up a bunch of little tiny ones at the same time. And I'll also link to Radiolink's site to this, so you can see. Amazon, I think, has all the specs on it, but Radiolink site might have a little bit more. So I'll have all the links down there so you can check out more, get a little bit more understanding. And I'm pretty sure on Radiolink site you can actually look at the manual and take a look at it as well to understand it a little bit better. Anyway, guys, that's it for me today. Everybody out there, as always, be happy, be healthy, be safe, and I will catch you guys on the next one. See you.